Okay, it's live now. Let me share this out, sorry. Share it on Facebook. Oops. Come join me. And I need to do not the international thing. I need an explanation, not an explanation mark, an exclamation mark. Doink. Doink, there it goes. Okay, let's set this up. Put the camera here, and we'll be ready to go. You know what, I should probably do it on the inside. Oh, I forgot to do the power thing. Hold on. Got that back there. Fix this. We'll go ahead and do the inside camera. And that means I need to stop that. Just a second here. Sorry for this. Oh, you know what? If I do it like that, yeah. No, that won't work. Oh, I know. Leave that there. Push this here. Switch this around here. This is my first time to try this using my new dual camera rig. I know that's on the wrong side. Oh, to heck with it. So, good morning. Hi there. So let's go ahead, and that is running. And I'm gonna say to heck with the camera, but I am gonna plug this into here. Quality microphone. And hold on while I plug in my charger here. I think I have it right down here. Because my camera tends to go dead pretty quickly. I had a new rig set up here for this month so that I could do the GoPro and the other thing at the same time. You know, oh, there it is. Okay. Boy, that traffic's loud, huh? Thought I'd try a new spot this morning. Plug this in. And we'll plug this in. And now it should be charging and doing that. So let's get started. Welcome to, this is the last day of March, which means that at the end of the month it's time to do a reading from my book, Going Alone. And this month I'm going to be reading from the chapter titled The Cast, which is a new chapter, something that I added after I got some recommendations from a friend that basically she observed that the book was missing a glossary, is what she said, because there's various concepts and characters and places that I refer back to from time to time, and she found herself going through the book looking for things like the desert killer. You know, what exactly is the desert killer? It'd be nice to have a place where that was succinctly defined, or Campo Number 1, or the Edge of Deep Water. All of these things which play a part in the landscape and story of Going Alone needed a place of definition. So I decided to add that. Initially, it was going to be a glossary at the very back of the book, but after the appendix. But I decided to make it a chapter. Well, as I started writing it, I realized it was a chapter of its own that I put right after the introduction. And I'm quite, if I do say so myself, I'm quite pleased and satisfied with that chapter. I think it does the job well. And let's go ahead and read it. So, Going Alone, a life of courage, joy, and independence. And if it sounds like that's a self-congratulatory title, it's not my intention. to be a life of courage, joy, and independence. Look at me. It's simply a term that I came up with in Japan to put a label on a way of life that I was striving to live, which was basically to have courage in the face of the things that scared me. Namely, in the most immediate example, being going into scary places alone in the Japanese mountains, and to try to enjoy the life that I've got in whatever circumstance as much as I possibly can, and to try to be as independent as I possibly can. So a life of courage, joy, and independence. And the book actually offers a recipe here in the back in the section titled The Good Life for how to live such a life. The recipe that I've distilled out of the years that I've had. So let's go ahead and read a little bit from the second chapter, the cast. Characters, 13 all of a sudden, characters, places, and concepts within my book. Let's begin with an introduction to the places and characters which play a role in my story of going alone. Some of these will figure notably in the book, while others are only mentioned briefly or not at all, or may only appear elsewhere, such as in my other writings or within the many videos I've made and shared about the deep wilderness settings which I've explored in Japan and America. Each of these places and characters are important to me for their use as landmarks, symbols, or analogy to the ideas I wish to convey. And as we proceed through this book, I'd like you to imagine 4 separate regions where these places and characters exist as elements of the story I want to tell. So I'm not yet getting into the actual list of cast and characters. I'm just kind of prefacing that with the fact that there's a landscape here. 4 regions to consider, and each region will successively go deeper into this place. It actually literally is a place, the place on the cover of this book. The first region is this civilization we enjoy and share, even if you and I are separated now by vast space and time, and which is the common bond between my writing these words and your reading of them. I don't think I need to speak much of this civil place and circumstance between us, given the fact that it is our common human heritage, even if I'm from California and you're from Istanbul. So this civilization that we exist in is the first layer, the first step. It's the thing that provides context between you and me, whether or not I'm dead, whether you're alive right now, whether you're there and I'm here, or whether we're sitting right next to one another. This shared resource of human connection is something we both know, enjoy, and may sometimes struggle. We both of us, we both know, enjoy, and may sometimes struggle to find and maintain a place within. It is our civilization and our community and our people and our home. This is the place from which we will start. It's the setting out point for this adventure of going alone. Don't lose sight of it. Never forget what it is or how important this grounding will always be to the well-lived life, to the social life, to the good life. So without this foundation, we're in sincere danger of becoming lost in the wildlands. Lost in a more profound sense than simply losing your way. It's a near miss that I had when I was young. Next chapter, next paragraph. So that's the first level, the first layer, civilization. The next on. The next 3 regions of potential exploration are settings increasingly removed from civilization. That's awfully bright, isn't it? Hold on, let's see if we can change this up a little bit. Sorry, I got Ollie with me. He's right behind me. I don't want to step on you, Ollie. There's Ollie the dog. I stirred the dog. Here, you stay here for a second. I'm just going to move over here, okay? Hold on. Here, that's better right there. I think. Oh, hold on. There. Stay. Good boy. Oh, yeah, there you go. It's kind of twisty. What? You're okay. We're cool. Hold on. Want to come sit with me? Okay, come on. Come here. Hold on. Ollie wants to sit with me. Whoops. Oh, goodness. Hold on. I'm all over the place. Hold on, baby boy. Hold on. Hold on, guys. Just a second while I straighten this up. Sorry about that. Not very professional, huh? Let me get my Ollie dog straightened up. Come here, boy. Let's take this leash off. Ollie, come here. We're going to sit over here instead. Oh, good boy. Okay. Let's set this up over here. Come here. Come here. Oh, good boy. There's Ollie. Okay. He's going to sit with us. Let me get this all hooked up again. That's all twisted. There. That's not bad. 11 minutes in and all I've been doing is goofing around. Come on. Yeah. We're cool. Okay, let's get back to this. Okay. There's Ollie boy. Okay, so the next paragraph. The next three regions of potential exploration are settings increasingly removed from civilization, places elsewhere and far away, distant and remote to our common understanding and the comfort of what we know is true. You and I are both aliens of a sort in these less explored places, especially when we go alone, and especially when we go alone where there are no roads, trails, paths, or opportunity of help, or where the connections, security, and comfort we left behind are now truly out of reach. So these three layers beyond get increasingly distant and increasingly dangerous. At the near edge of this vast and nearly universal wild, there is a crossing over point and borderland, which I call the edge of deep water. It's a high point between civilization and the deeper wilds, a place where we can at once see, hear, and otherwise perceive both the last vestige of our home and community in the near distance behind us, as well as the empty lands of wildness dead ahead and down below. This edge of deep water is someplace we can indeed visit, and if we're lucky, and if we go alone, then just maybe we'll catch a glimpse there of the terrible thing I call the great indifference, which is defined further in this book. I recommend going no further than this edge if you are timid or scared, or not willing to risk, or to lose, or to die seemingly too soon. This is my very real and sincere warning to you. I'm not trying to seem dramatic or to simply entertain you with dangerous-sounding cautions. Death, and something possibly much worse, can really find you when you perceive the great indifference. Don't go alone to the edge of deep water if you don't really want to know. And if you do go, then go alone. And don't try to follow me. You'll find nothing out there if you do. So the edge of deep water is a real place. I'm concocting a sign to place there and mark the spot. It's a high point on a mountain about a mile north of Siberia, on those black hills that you can see. Not the dark black hills, but the ones just on the edge. Go up to the top of that, and when you look down and over the edge, you're looking over the edge into the deep water wilderness itself. This is from basically the edges, a little off the book here, and then this is the deep water wilderness itself. Next, and beyond the edge of deep water, comes the deep water wilderness itself. This is where most of the remaining characters and places in this book are found. They are landmarks, as I said, and though they are indeed real, you find them. Whoops, sorry. In fact, you're better off discovering such things in a desert, quotation marks, of your own seeking. Go somewhere else. Find something else. Take your own scary risks. Don't seek the places and things which I've found and have related here. Don't look for the great indifference just where I found it, as it'll be hard to see with the echo of my past passage, blinding your view and confounding your footsteps. And if you do go where I once went, and then successfully locate any of the landmarks, such as the Watcher, or the Miner, or Campo Number 1, or the Home of Faith, or even Mount Wildness itself, then I bet you'll stand there and say to yourself, why the hell did I come here? And what was Kurt talking about? This is nothing. And so it'll be, nothing to you. That's because even if you went to my places all by yourself, you didn't truly go alone. So even though I'm going to leave in this book, and I have left in this book, adequate and sufficient guidance to find exactly the places I went to, it'll take some work. It's not precisely guidance. It's kind of, and I deliberately made it indistinct, because I hope to throw you off course if you try to go here. It's a little use to retrace my steps, to go to the places that I went, to find the wilderness that I found. Better to find your own wilderness, and to do that you'll have to find your own Siberia first. The last place on my indistinct map of regions is the Great Indifference itself, which is both beyond and within the deep water wilderness. It's everywhere, in fact. Only we can see it better and the further we get out there in the desert. Again, quotation marks. Find a desert of your own. In fact, I just made a sticker this week that I'm sending out with the book now that says, it's got this picture of the landscape. It says, always go to the desert. There's a reason I made it, I worded it that way, but go find a desert of your own. Desert in quotation marks. It's there in the mountains too, and in the sea, and where you work, and where you live. Though you can't very well perceive such empty in these places due to the clutter of life and the artifacts of living. To perceive the Great Indifference clearly, you'll need a desert, and you'll need to go far, far beyond your own edge of deep water. Give one last look back before you proceed, going down and into your own deep water, and then beyond. Do you see it out there? If so, then now what? Read on to learn how I answered this particular question in my own life, which is the substance and subject of my book and story. But first, let's meet the cast of Going Alone. You want to jump down? Go ahead. So with that, I basically introduced the 4 layers, right? Civilization, the edge of deep water, the deep water wilderness itself, and then finally, the Great Indifference. Curious thing is that the Great Indifference is everywhere. You don't actually have to go anywhere to find it, but you can't see it. Can't see it much around because we're all cluttered with distraction. There's a part of the book that I call, in the principles, the agency and the Great Indifference. It's all this agency. I don't know, I'm starting to sound like wooey, right? But it's all this agency, all these busybody human beings doing our things, making our stuff, producing our artifacts and stuff like that are things that mask the indifference of the universe. It can really best be found in a desert. So now we get on to the actual, we've finished the intro section there, and for this chapter. Now we're getting into the individual cast and characters themselves with a little heading and then a description. So the first one here is Siberia Ghost Town. Siberia is a small, deserted community halfway up the Mojave Grade between Amboy and Ludlow in the Southern California desert. There's nothing at Siberia now but ruins and ghosts, and even these have only enough remembrance to barely exist as rubble, dust, and fiction. Come here when you are ready to go further, but don't expect to find what you're looking for. It isn't here. True, there were once people, lives, and dreams at this place. Lives and dreams like yours and mine. Though there's nothing more now to see at Siberia. Though there's perhaps much yet to discover and learn. But only if you go alone, and only if you find your own damn Siberia. I added the word damn. It sounds so contrived reading it. Trust me, when I wrote this, it was a lot more sincere. It's like, this is exactly what I wanted to say. And it sounds like I'm telling stories now. Perhaps that's all they are, is stories. But Siberia Ghost Town is the starting off place, the point of embarkation for these journeys into the wilderness. I see there were some comments. Top chat. Let's see what the comments are. I see some people saying stuff. Hi, good morning, Mr. Kurt. Hello, good morning, Mr. Vinos. Can't quite read that. How's it going, Kurt? I haven't seen you for a long time. Hi, Ken. It's good to see you too. Thank you. Kurt, I can't stay long. This Black Hat. Hi. Have my grandmother's funeral. Oh no. But reading your book with its format of brief words and wisdom reminds me of Pirkei Avot in Judaism. I'm saying his name wrong. Pirkei Avot in Judaism. Have a great day. Thank you. Thank you, Black Hat. I do appreciate it. It's always good to hear from you. And condolences about your grandmother. The two places, Hi Elder Autismo says, the two places I have really wanted to visit because you showed them was Amboy and the village of the Long Bear. Yeah, good places to visit. And Black Hat says, some of your ideas are similar to Jewish Kabbalah and Hasidism. So I'm so sorry I can't pronounce any of these things. I know roughly what you're talking about, but you always give me more to think about, Black Hat. Bread and Gravy says, you were right that it's very apt for me, RN, what you have, what, it's fading. What you have read so far, it sounds like you did a beautiful job with the Inksling, and certainly in conveying your profound ideas and thoughts. Thank you. I'm sorry if I'm not reading this very well. I don't know what Inkslinging, this stuff, writing. Thank you. I appreciate that compliment. Okay, let's carry on. Ollie's over here. Inkslinging, yeah, I get it finally. I was like, Inksling. Okay, BNSF Railroad. How's the sound, guys? How's the audio? I'm using a really nice Rode lapel mic, so that's why it kind of connects up, so that's why I can lean back here with leisure. Hopefully the sound is okay. Let me know if it's not. Please. Had a moment. It sounds really good. Oh, I'm glad to hear that, Bread and Gravy. Thanks. By the way, I had a moment of temperance this morning. Here's my venti-sized coffee, which I'm not allowing myself much of anymore because I decided to up my subscription for the website for Going Alone. So I have an enhanced subscription that allows me to send out newsletters and posts and actually have a store, although I'm not using these things just yet. I plan to, and it costs an extra $20 a month. So I decided to pay for that by not allowing myself to buy coffee, except when I do these book readings. And if I'm with my family, of course. But you guys, I have some side projects that I'm working on. You know, some marketing, sharing, and like that. I want to, and I have some things that I'm doing to try and market this thing that are kind of weird. But one of my side projects is a project called Stoic Poetry. I'm a big fan of the Stoics. This book is strongly influenced by Stoic thought and ideas. And this morning I went to buy this on my way over here to do the reading, and the woman, I mean, I don't know what she was thinking, but this is a big size because I don't allow myself very often. But it was clearly not very much in there, and you know, I guess I got cheated a little bit. And first, I thought to one of my principles, which is the principle of good, or the objective of good emotional reactions. Didn't get upset. Then I asked myself about the good use of time, and I wanted to get over here and get started. And then I thought about temperance, which is another one of my principles. Not my principles, it's a Stoic principle. And I decided it's a good thing to have a little less than a venti size. So I tried to maneuver the circumstance of disappointment, getting less than I paid for, less than I rightfully deserved, given that I paid full price for it, plus $1 tip, into a little bit of self-control, a little bit of restraint, and a little bit less. Make a good title for a book. Okay, let's carry on. I'm only going to do a few more of these because I got to pee. I get home. That's what happens when you get 50. Your bladder can't hang in there anymore, even though it was a small. See, that's why it was good that I only got the small size, right? Because I'd have to finish sooner. Because if I got the big one. Anyway, here we go. BNSF Railroad. Somebody said something. I think you just inspired me to actually go on my own journeys. By my biggest inspiration. Hold on. Let's see if I can get. I have not been able to figure out how to use these comments. how do you do this? Oh, there you go. Hi, Elder Autismo says, I think you just inspired me to actually go on my own journeys. My biggest inspiration for the past years has been to travel and visit places of interest. I just turned 24 recently. It's the time. Hi, Elder Autismo. This is the time. I can't, can I send you a copy of my book? Send me a private message. I'd like to send you a free copy. You are the person who I wrote this book for. Do it. And Bread and Gravy says, it's Brendan McGravy here. Oh, I get it. Bread and Gravy, Brendan McGravy. By the way, Bread and Gravy is my username. Places online, because it's a funny moniker kids give me back in school as a tease, since it sounds very similar to my name. It's a good one, too. Thanks for the explanation, too. Now I get it. Okay, let's talk about another area, another cast member in Going Alone, which is the BNSF Railroad. Siberia Ghost Town owes its existence and history to the Burlington Northern and Santa Fe Railroad, the tracks of which run just north of the crumbled stone ruins of the ghost town's former train station. While nearby Route 66 has all but died, the BNSF remains a thriving concern, with mile-long freight trains passing east and west several times per hour, day and night, breaking the desert silence with thunderous locomotives heading up a long string of heavy freight cars moving slowly through the desert. The locomotives proceed always on their way through every desert town and siding, even the ghost towns, by issuing 4 blasts of the lead engine's deep, resonant train horn. 2 long blasts, followed by a short blast, and then a long bellow as the train approaches and then passes through the lonely Siberia Railroad crossing. It's like this. Ooh, gosh, geez, just starting to do this, I can hear it. Kind of like that. Nice timing. It kind of sounds like that. I can hear it just as I try to do it. It's woo, woo, and then a short one. Woo, and just as the train passes through the lonely crossing, woo. It's ingrained in my head. When I'm an old man sitting on my deathbed, I'll be listening to that echo through my mind. These trains are an irregular timepiece and reminder of what we've left behind in coming here. Come back to that. They pass us by very closely, yet remain impossibly far, especially at night, especially when there is no moon and the wind blows and we wake up and we ask ourselves why we've come at all to such a place and why we came alone. You know, when I'm out there and I've got my little tent out there in the desert in the ghost town, and really, really disconnected. You know, there's just the only hint of what I've left behind are the ruins of the ghost town itself, that little dirt road that comes out, and then the 2 lines of Route 66 to the south and BNSF Railroad just to the north that have their irregular traffic. Just periodically a few cars every hour passed on the highway, and on the railroad every, maybe 15 minutes, 10 minutes, a big line of train goes by. But even though the train is right there, I could practically throw a rock at it. It is very distant. I think it's because, pardon me, you can probably hear that because of the microphone. Sorry. I think that's because of the rails and the thriving engines, the insulation within the cab of the passengers, the engineers inside. And you really feel, even though there's human beings passing right by, you feel utterly disconnected, especially at night when I'm just covered in the night and I don't have any fire. I never use a campfire, and I try to always keep my light off at all times, just when I need it, and especially when the trains are going by, and I know that nobody can see me. And it is a reminder of what I left behind. Not what I'm running from. I think some people think that's the case, and it's not. It's what I'm trying to distance myself from this distraction, all this stuff that masks the reality of the universe out there that I really want to see. Ooh, I'm getting cold. Ooh, shiver, shiver, shiver. Let me grab my little sweater. I'm sorry. Ollie, are you okay? You shaking? You shaking too? Come here, sit in my lap. Hold on, guys. Let me get my jacket. Come here, sit in my lap. It's still kind of chilly, huh? Yeah, it'll be warm soon. Come here, boy. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. He's putting on a little weight, and he's having a harder time jumping in my lap lately. There we go. Okay, come on, settle down. Okay, I see a couple comments. Let's see. Oh yeah, okay, I see. Hi Elder Autismo says, me being a person with Asperger's syndrome has been recently become more independent, and I have grown more mature and independent and still doing it. That's wonderful. Keep it up. That's great. Bread and Gravy says, LOL Kurt, drawing profundity from ordering a coffee. It's how I can pass the time. Hi Elder Autismo says, I've been slowly turning from the modern world of technology and materialism and the world of desire, and more of a free spirit and desire, to not be someone who is so known, don't like norms of society. Onward we go, right? I did not go to college and have not worked because I did not want to get stuck on a path and to question what I am doing with myself later in life. I don't like consumerism and the way the world run it. I understand. Sorry for all long messages, Kurt. That's fine. There's a lot of stuff in there. Wow. I have only not done this yet, trying to fix a few things first. Yeah, aren't we all? Oh, sorry, I forgot to plug this back in. Oh, good. Okay, Ollie, settle down. Okay, just a little more. My doggy might be getting kind of cold, so I should probably take him home soon, get him some breakfast. Now I got a butt in my face. Come here, baby. There we go. No, wait. I'll look that way. Okay, here we go. We'll do one more, Route 66, and then we'll call it a day at 32 minutes or now. You want to get down again? Okay, sit with me. There we go. Route 66, aka the Mother Road, is now a lonesome stretch of highway running alongside the BNSF Railroad through much of the East Mojave Desert. This old highway is my access to Siberia Ghost Town, with the infrequent traffic along this road being but an echo of the millions of people who arrived in California via this famous and historic transcontinental thoroughfare. There's a marker facing east at the north side of Route 66, where a small dirt road leads off along the short drive up to Siberia. The marker is a large tire with the words West Siberia written on it in white spray paint. I sometimes wonder how many westbound travelers on Route 66 even notice the marker. Sometimes I'll stand a short way off in the desert near the tire to watch folks' faces as they drive past the ghost town entrance. The only people who ever seem to notice the sign, or me standing alone there in the empty desert, are the employees of the BNSF Railroad, passing by in their large white utility trucks. They notice me as I am out of place in a landscape they know. The others never see me. They do not know this place, and they are perhaps too focused on their Route 66 journey, which is simply yet another unworthy distraction. What I mean by that unworthy distraction bit is we just fill our time and occupy ourselves with so many things to remind us not of what isn't really out there. Does it sound like a lot of double negatives? What isn't really out there? Go out there. It's astonishing. Go out there and see it for yourself. But go alone, and go with the very near risk of getting lost. But be warned, you might not make it back. And if you do make it back, something may be left out there that you can never recover. It's a very real risk, and I don't say that lightly, and I don't mean it in jest. You going alone can leave you bereft of something that may give you peace, and which you may never find peace again without. And only if you can continue on life without that thing which is the seemingly artificial assurance that there is more, that there is meaning, that there is maybe life after death, that there is love in the universe beyond what we find with one another. If you can't bear that, then don't go. If you can, then I would highly recommend it, because I find it has the effect of turning me around, an about face, 180 degrees, back to my family, back to my friends, back to my little dog, to make love, to make good, to make a world of virtue and a life of virtue in the little bit of time that I've got. Whoop! Before it all comes crashing down. And with that, my little dog is shivering. So I'm going to take him home, get him some breakfast, and then I'll take my family out too. I see a couple of comments there. Let's just wrap up with the reading the last comments, and then we'll get out of here. I really wanted to visit Salton. Hi, Kurt. Oh, hi, Reka. I have talked to you before. There's a couple. I've been trying to. Who? Sorry. Oh, there you go. I have only not done this yet. Trying to fix a few things first. Yeah. Yep. Good. It takes time. I have talked with you before on Facebook and have been following you since 2 years before you moved back to California. Thank you for the long follow. Reka says hi. Hi, Reka. I mainly want to visit Salton Sea and places like that, of that type. I have learned I prefer the desolate places of California. I have not yet been, but will visit one day. Yeah. Also, I'm buying a paperback of your book on Amazon. I know you said to send you a message. I will, but I feel I'd better buying one and supporting. Thank you. I appreciate that. The purchases, the money goes. Hi, Reka. Have a good day. Thank you. The purchases, the money that I get from the sale, go to buying more books. And what I do is I leave them in places. Like I'll leave a copy right here on the table, and I don't have it in this one, but there'll be stickers. And I'm doing a new thing where I'm leaving them at supermarkets. I'm using the bike. I'm finding the bike draws a lot of attention, my GSA. And so I'm leaving whenever I leave the bike, I have a sign that I put out now. It says free adventure book and an arrow. Take one. And then I stack a couple of books there, and people take them. So I'm in there shopping, doing my stuff, and people come by and they're like, see, ooh, cool motorcycle. What? A free book? What the hell? And they come and they take a book. And when you buy a book online, all the proceeds for that, which ain't much, because it goes towards buying more books to give away. That's my marketing. And with that, I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. With my little boy, I'm getting talk to the hand. Ollie, you ready to go home? Hi, Kurt. Skull Valkyria says, greetings from Finland. I would love to be able to travel around and see different places, but I feel kind of stuck in my life right now. Any tips to get over these feelings? I wrote this book for you. This is, yes, The Path of Wildness. It sounds weird. It sounds like I'm talking nonsense. But there's a concept in my book called The Path of Wildness, and I wrote it for people who are stuck. It's a way to get unstuck. So Skull Valkyria, send me a message on Facebook, and I will gladly send you a free copy of my book and a sticker. Couple stickers. I must sleep now and have not slept, and I am in New York. Wow, we better get to sleep. Were we up all night? Okay, take care, everybody. PM me if you want a book. I'll send you a copy, and talk to you later. Remember, I'd love to have your book. Yeah, well, send me a message. I'll send you one. Skull Valkyria. Remember, be safe, but not too safe. Right, Ollie? Yes, that's right. And don't worry about it if you only get shortchanged on your venti-sized mocha.